I'm Corinne Blackstone and welcome to my craft room. Before we get started, make sure that you're a member over on my exclusive Facebook group. It's a great place to get to know other crafters, ask your questions, and show off your crafts. I'll link it down below for you. Today's video, we are going to be using the Cricut Joy Xtra. I actually really was surprised at how much I like this machine. Now, you guys have watched me before, you know that I don't like the Joy. I think it's a little too small and it doesn't do enough for the cost. This, however, is a really great size, especially if you are somebody who wants to travel with it or you have a small space to craft in. This still gets you a really good size to do projects without really limiting you. Now, today's video, I'm going to teach you all about how to make your very own Libbey cup wrap, and you can download the template that I used because I just made a quick little square, but you can just download a template and use that over at CorinneBlackstone.com, which I'll link down below as well so that you can get to it right away. We're going to be making this cute little strawberry one. It's really easy, really fun, and you can do anything that you want. You can use any images that you want, any designs. I just chose strawberries because I just think they're really fun. And we did everything using our Joy Xtra. So let's go ahead and get started. For our first project with our Joy Xtra, we're going to make a Libbey cup wrap. So this is really easy to do. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to start with a template for the size of the cup wrap. So I'm going to go to my shapes and I just want to open up a square. And we're going to resize this so that it fits with our 16-ounce glass. So I need to go to the top here and open up the lock. And then I want to make the width of this wrap 9 inches. It's actually 9.397 inches. And then for height, it is just 3.937. So that is the height for a 16-ounce glass. Now, sometimes it does weird stuff where it doesn't necessarily change. That's okay. I'll just go back in. I might have just missed hitting enter, which I did. So this is the size of our cup wrap. Now, I'm going to change it to just a light gray so I can see it a little bit better. Now, what I want to do is I want to put like little strawberries on it. I think that would be really cute. So I'm just going to use some images from Design Space, but you can use any image that you want. So I'm just going to search the word strawberry. I'm going to spell it correctly. And apparently I still didn't. I called it a starberry, which is going to bring me up stars. We're going to look for a strawberry, not a starberry, and just find one that we like, that's cute, that we want to use for our cup. Now, you can use any design that you want to. It's really up to you. You find the one that really speaks to your desired look, whatever you want it to look like. I actually kind of like this one with the little yellow, but I'm not sure that that's quite what I want to do. So let me scroll for a second, find a strawberry I like, and then I'll show you our next steps. I like this little strawberry. This is kind of more so what I'm going for. So I'm going to select it and add it to our canvas. And then it's going to come in and it might be too big, which is typical. That's okay because we need to size it down anyways. But the first thing I want to do before I size it or anything like that is I always want to look over on the layers panel. I want to make sure that the little white dots are not actually a layer because I don't want to have to cut them all out and layer them. I'd rather it just be see-through right there. I think that's fine. And you can see here that we have 2 layers. We have a green layer and a red layer with the white cut out, so that's perfect. Now what I want to do is I'm going to size my strawberry down a bit and I'm going to put it on to my template here. And then I'm going to play with the sizing just on my template. Now I don't want them all straight up and down because that's kind of boring. So I'm going to turn it a little bit and kind of just play with where it's placed. I think that looks pretty okay. So then what I want to do is I'm going to use the Control-C and Control-V on my keyboard because now I'm going to be able to place my strawberries by just using copy and paste instead of having to use duplicate. So what I do is I kind of play around with this. Now right here, I don't want to put a strawberry right on this edge because they're going to end up touching. So what I want to do is put this one down here a little bit. You got to think about that when you're placing your designs is how they're actually going to meet up on the other side. So I would want to maybe put a strawberry right here instead. And then I think I want to put one here. Now you can make this as even and clean as you want. You can make this a really just strawberries everywhere. It's truly up to you and the way you want your design to look. Now I'm seeing that it's going to be a little too spaced out the way I have it. So I'm just going to scoot everything over a little bit. And again, I'm not trying to line these up perfectly. I just want them to look a little bit like a pattern. So by doing so, I can just kind of play with them and figure out where I want them to sit and what I want them to look like. Now, I don't know that I necessarily love them all facing the same way, so that is also something that I can change. I can actually use this little rotate option, and maybe I just want to rotate this row. Maybe that's all I want to do. And I can just rotate, and then we can play around with spacing a little bit too, as we kind of want to get this all set up the way we want. Now, I think that looks pretty good, but I do think that maybe it's missing something a little bit. So I'm going to see what else I can find that might work really well with the little strawberries. So I'm just going to go right back into Design Space Images, and I'm thinking like maybe stars actually would be kind of cute. But let's see what we can find. We'll get some inspiration. Inspiration has struck, so I think what we're going to do is use this shape, and we're going to actually change the colors because I don't like the colors that they have, but it should be really easy to do. This is a super simple design, just something fun that we can play with. And these are going to kind of look like strawberries when they are not, like when they're still in the flower stage. So what I want to do is I'm going to change the colors. I'm going to change the center part. I want this to be yellow, and then I'm going to change the outside part to be white. So very, very simply, I can just get that part all finished. Now, again, we want to size this down. And for this, I'm not going to change like the direction because it won't change anything. So I'm just going to take them and I'm going to do, again, Control-C, Control-V, which is copy and paste. And I'm just going to put these little flowers in between the strawberries. Now, I'm kind of looking at them and I'm like, is it too big? Possibly a little bit. So I think I am going to size them down a little more. And because I don't feel like sizing these, I'm just going to delete them and then I'm going to do copy and paste again. Because that way everything's sized the same. It's just a lot easier to do it that way. So I'm going to lay these all out between our strawberries, and then I'm going to show you our next step. I think this is so cute. So now our next step is that we're going to need to do some ungrouping and some things like that. So we probably should have ungrouped before we made all of the little designs, but that's okay. I'm going to show you how to do it without, too much hassle. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to scroll down to the bottom, and I'm going to hide the square that I'm using here. That way it's out of my way. So now that we've hidden that, I'm just going to start at the top, and I want to hit ungroup, which are these two little squares right here. And you're going to need to do that for each one of your designs. Like I said, I probably should have done it before I made all of the flowers and all of the strawberries, but I didn't, and that's okay. It just means a little bit more work for me, but it's easy work. I just click ungroup, and we're going to ungroup each of them. So let me finish ungrouping everybody, including the strawberries, and then I'll show you how to do our next step. All of our designs are ungrouped. So now what we need to do is take all the items that are the same color and attach them. And let me show you why we're going to do it that way. So if I hit make it right now after I've ungrouped everything, it's going to be a big mess. Now this, because we're cutting on the Joy Xtra, it's going to ask us how we want to cut. And for this, we're cutting on matte, so I'm going to click confirm. Now what you'll see is, how everything's out of order? It's all just in a straight line. That's obviously not what we want. So what I'm going to do is click cancel. And we need to attach all items that are like colors. So I just start here at the top, and I'm holding shift on my keyboard, and I'm just clicking each of my designs. If I don't hold shift, you'll see it'll only click one design at a time. So I'm holding on that shift, and I'm just gonna click all the little yellow daisy dots. Now what's kind of annoying is that it does drag you back up to the top every time you do that, but that's okay. The next thing we need to click is the word attach. You can combine them as well. You can weld, you can unite, but you can also use attach. So when you click attach, you'll see that they all go under the same column. So now we can do the same thing for the little daisies, and we can just hold control and select all the white daisy parts and choose attach. And now you'll see that one does the same thing. So I'm going to go ahead and attach all the green parts of our strawberry as well. So again, it's going to keep dragging me back to the top every time I click. It's kind of annoying, but that's just Design Space for you. And I'll attach all the green. Now, if you want to make it really easy for yourself, once you've got most of the colors attached, you can just hide the color by clicking on the eyeball next to it, and you'll see the green's all gone. I can do the same here for the yellow, and then I can also do that for the white. Then all I have to do is put a box around all the red ones and simply click attach. Then I just have to come back and use the eyeball to show all the rest of the colors. That's just like a quick little, like if you want to do it really fast, that's an option. So now that we've done it that way, when we hit make, it's going to take and keep everything in the correct order, which is the way we want it to be. So again, we're cutting on matte because we're not using smart vinyl for this. Now you'll see our daisies are the correct way. Our strawberries are the correct way. Our daisy dots, for some reason, turn them the long way, which is weird, but that's just how it is because it doesn't take up, I guess, as wide of a space as it needs to. So it's just something to think about. Like if you can't turn this one this way because it's too wide, but because these take up a little less space, they can turn them that way. So now all we have to do is head over to the machine and get our pieces cut out of our StarCraft vinyl. We're ready to load our mat for our different materials. So I'm going to start with white, and then I have all the other materials. I just cut them down to size, and I really just cut them down to the width that I needed. I wasn't super worried about the length, just because it's not really a big deal. If it's too long, I'd rather it be the right width. So I'm just going to load it on to this mat. Now this is an off-brand mat, so we're going to try it and see how it does. I don't have the Cricut brand standard grip, so we'll see how this brand Real Like is. Our next step for this cup is to layer all of our items. Now you could layer them on the cup if you want to, but for me, I prefer to layer them on to the actual like backing, if that makes sense. It's just easier for me. So I'm gonna start with the strawberries. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab some transfer tape. This is medium tack from 143. I will link it down below. This is literally my favorite tape. It works so well on like all my projects. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the green, I'm going to lay it on to my transfer tape, and I'm just going to trim this off. That way I can just use this little piece here. And you want to have a squeegee because you want to burnish this from the back, and that way all of your little green pieces are going to stick to your transfer tape. And then you just remove the backing. Now what I'm going to do is bring in a piece of parchment paper. This is just like you would use with baking, and the reason I use this is because vinyl doesn't stick to it, so it's going to allow us to be able to line up our green pieces onto our strawberries way easier than it would otherwise. Now it is pretty staticky, you can see, but what's nice about it is it doesn't stick. So if it pulls it up with the static, it's okay. I'm not worried about it. But what you want to do is you're going to take your design and you're going to just leave some of it hanging off the side. You don't need to leave a lot, but that's going to be where you can move it around and line it up. So all I'm going to do is get this green where I'm happy, which that looks good. And then press the part that you have down over here, and then you just take your parchment paper and you can pull it out from under your vinyl and get everything laid down. And then all I'm going to do is just burnish over this. Now I didn't leave a lot of extra space down here. I was not thinking about the fact that my strawberries sit lower. So what I can do is take a little bit of the transfer tape that I have, and I can just cut off another little section. And that way I can then cover the base part of my strawberries. You can definitely use more than one piece of transfer tape if you need to. You do what works for you, but I'm just going to take this extra piece and just place it down here. And I'm going to turn this over. And next we're going to put on our little daisies, but I do want to burnish this from the back. So I'm going to give this a good press. I'm using a couple different brands of vinyl, so some of them did cut a little bit better than others. The Avery didn't cut as well as I'd hoped, but it did okay. And it's coming off the backing okay as well. So we're just going to kind of make sure everything stays down on our transfer tape. And the next thing we'll do is our daisies. So we're gonna work with our daisies now. They're really hard to see because they are on a white backing, but I can see them. So all I'm gonna do, I know where my strawberries sit as to where my daisies are. So all I'm gonna do is put my strawberries down and just do like I did when I put the tops on and move that over and then just press this down again. And then all I need to do from here is to simply burnish this down. Now, I technically could do the dots the same way. I'd have to peel the transfer tape off. The reason I didn't do that is I'm actually gonna press the dots once it's already on the cup. The dots are gonna just be a little bit more difficult than I wanted to deal with, so I'm gonna move the dots manually after we put it on the cup. So now what I'm gonna do is peel this back, and we have our daisy pieces and our strawberries all ready to go on to our transfer tape. I've got my cup. It's just a 16-ounce Libbey cup. These are fantastic. They're so cute. So what I do is I like to set mine on to my squeegee. This is great if you don't have a cup cradle or you don't have a cup, holder. Squeegee is a great item, and I've got a little piece of vinyl. I'm just gonna see if I can kind of pull that off. It's just one of the little seeds from the strawberries. I just want to make sure it doesn't stick to my cup. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to try, and you'll probably see the top of my head, but I'm going to get as over this cup as I can, and I want to get this on as straight as I can. So I'm just going to place it down onto my cup. You want to place it with confidence. I always say place with confidence. And then I'm going to wrap this. Now we have a little part that is probably going to go and touch the transfer tape. Actually, it's not. That's good. Our cup wrap actually fits really well, so go me. And now all I'm going to do is I want to go around and burnish all the way around my cup. Now, one thing you want to make sure that you're doing when you're burnishing is that you're getting all over each and every piece of your design. So we're going to burnish down, and then we can go through and peel our transfer tape off. You want to go slow and make sure that everything stays stuck down, but it should. And remember, we've got that extra piece, so you're going to have a little bit of a thicker section down here of transfer tape. Just kind of watch and make sure everything's coming off. This is such a fun way to make these cup wraps, and this little Joy Xtra is perfect for these. It's such a good size. So then we're going to go ahead and just keep peeling. And you can see how easily this is sticking to my cup. And yeah, could we be done right here? We could, but I'm gonna add the little dots. So there's a couple ways you can do it. I'm gonna go with the tweezers and just lay them myself, because this should take me only just a couple of seconds. This is not like a task that takes a long time. The hardest part a lot of times is just getting the vinyl off the backing. And other than that, this is a quick process. I just prefer to do it like this because, I don't know, I don't like putting the little dots on. I always feel like I get them just slightly off every time I do it. So I just like to do it manually, and it gives me a little more control. So I'm gonna finish putting these dots on, and then I'll show you what it looks like. I absolutely love how this cup came out, and be sure to download the free templates at CorinneBlackstone.com, linked down below. When you make cups like this, you always want to be using permanent vinyl. If you guys have any questions, please let me know in those comments down below. I'm always happy to answer those for you. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and as always, happy crafting.